Okay, so this is part two of the video. So the article finishes by saying that the Curtis boys should be allowed to stay together, but that final bit of news panics Pony Boy, who hadn't realized that there was even a chance that he and Soda Pop might be separated from Dairy. And then over here, you'll notice the divided communities symbol for theme and the self sacrifice and honor symbol for theme. The news article highlights the larger community's failure to see the potential for heroism and honorable behavior among greasers. The community expects greasers to become criminals and delinquents. Since they have few other choices, many of these boys become exactly that. To some extent, Johnny and Pony Boy's courageous actions overturn these expectations. Yet, even so, the community may still decide that Derry is an unfit guardian and split up the Curtis family. And you can clearly see, and this would be maybe something you would want to talk about on your Padlet, but there's plenty of other things to talk about. So don't just stick with this because I'm using it as an example. But Derry clearly has self sacrificed ever since his parents' death to give Pony Boy and Soda Pop a home. It even talks about at one point in the book where Pony Boy mentions that Derry really was more like a Soch than he was a greaser. It's just kind of that was the cards that he was, dealt in life. That metaphor makes you think of that metaphor um that those are the cards he was dealt because and that expression just means the situation that he was put into. And so he sacrificed playing sports and going to school and graduating so that he could take care of Pony Boy and Soda Pop. And so maybe that might be something you would pull out of one of these analyses since there's more than one of them. All right, so I'm going to continue down reading this. With Soda Pop and Dairy now in the kitchen too, Pony Boy shares the news that on the previous night he had one of his recurring nightmares, which he can only vaguely remember in the morning. Dairy becomes very concerned. Pony Boy explains that the dreams began when the boy's parents died, though they had lately seemed to taper off. Notice Dairy, even though he's not as understanding as Soda Pop, he isn't completely hardened. He does have compassion and love and concern for Pony Boy. And obviously, you can argue that the situation and the circumstances of almost losing Pony Boy made him more willing to show those emotions and those feelings. The conversation returns to Soda Pop's girlfriend, Sandy, who suddenly moved to Florida to live with her grandmother. Soda is clearly upset, so Derry distracts him by saying that they need to get to work. The recurrence of Pony Boy's nightmares suggests that he is struggling emotionally to cope with the killing of Bob, the possibility of Johnny's death, and the threat of separation from his brothers. Derry's concern for Pony Boy suggests that the rift in the Curtis family is mending. And so, if you'll notice how when I was reading over here, I had already in my mind started formulating the ideas that were over here. That's what I want you to do. This helps you out. But as you read on the left side, I want you making inferences naturally and thinking about these things. And I want you to see how well you do with that when you come over here to read this. Did you come up with the same inferences and ideas that they did? And then, you see right here, Soda Pop and Sandy make up another divided community because her family obviously did not want her with someone like Soda Pop. All right, so when you finish reading all of the lit charts, I've already read the first page for you and read each analysis for you and talked about the different themes. Once you have finished reading all of it, you are going to go to a Padlet that I've created, and I will share a link for that. And you are going to do the same thing you did in the Socratic online discussion. You are going to create your own Padlet, and then you must respond to two people and make sure your name's on it so I can count that you have 3 comments on that page. 3, 3, 3. Some of you on the Socratic Online Circle, you made your comment, but you didn't respond to anyone. And so that's the magic number. I am looking for your name on 3 comments. So make sure that they're on there. And